Welcome back to the Stretford End, everyone. Today we have your pre-match press conference for the game against City tomorrow. And of course, as usual, I've made a couple of notes and I would like to go through them with you. And of course, continue to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. We want to grow the community and have at least 200 subscribers by the end of and the middle of the year. I would also like to say that you guys should continue to follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram, where we also post more Stretford in content based on Manchester United. And if I have to start by saying that I definitely do love the support that you guys have given the channel, and I want you guys to help me grow the channel to even bigger heights because I know there are more than shall I say, millions of Manchester United supporters that we do need to reach so that we all can revel in the free opinion of supporting Manchester United. Without further ado, let's get into the notes of the press conference. So, the first question asked by the journalists, and I have to say that the journalists actually asked quite crap questions. They didn't ask questions that are, sorry, relevant to the actual game. It was more questions based on, you know, the structure of our club, our new manager that we might be looking at getting in. Of course, we know that Ten Hag, basically had contact from our club with regards to him taking over as the full-time manager at the end of the season, and that is good news. I've said it plenty of times here on the Stretford End. If you haven't seen the videos, go and watch them. I've said that we need to get Eric Ten Hag, and basically he is the man to take us forward. And with him being the manager and Ralph being, above him in a consultancy role, we basically can go much further than we possibly could think because we all know that Ten Hag knows how he wants to play and he's got a clear identity to his style of play, which is easy to bring across to players and players that you want to sign rather than having a coach who is trying to find his way, trying to see which is his best 11, etc. Players tend to want consistency and they tend to want a coach that knows exactly what he is doing. And Erik Ten Hag, for me, in my opinion, is the best option for that. And the first question that was asked of Ralph Ragnick basically was the stat that I brought out in the preview. If you haven't seen the preview to the City game, definitely go and give that a watch. And he basically, was asked about us creating the most chances more than any other team in the Premier League since he has arrived. And he basically said that he doesn't think about that. It's not something that is important to him. Yes, of course, creating chances is important, but it's not something that he focuses on because we should be scoring. He made mention of the fact that against Watford, we should have at least had 2 to 3 goals, and we should be, putting those chances away. Only then will those chances actually have meaning. And that makes sense. I mean, surely if we do get chances against City, we need to take them because we won't be getting a lot of chances. But the chances that we do get, we need to be clinical and capitalize on those chances. The next thing that was asked about Ragnick was basically him having to speak about Pep and his style of play and how he has progressed with City over the years. And he basically, Ragnick spoke about his time at Bayern Munich, how he knew him there, how he's seen how his team developed here at City, the type of players that they have, the various positions that they can play, the structure, the discipline that they have. And he basically praised Pep, a bit of, shall I say, mind games there, because it's like asking, one president to, speak about another president, and he's not going to go out there and say, oh, that president is crap, and oh, that president hasn't won a Champions League, He will basically, praise him, speak about the good works that he does, especially to the public eye. And again, a stupid question asked by the journalist, but it's the journalists trying to drag Ragnick into a conversation where they can find a sentence where he criticizes Pep and use that as a headline to sell papers or to sell, articles online for clickbait, etc. And I'm going to say it again, these journalists in the UK, are just down for their own agendas. They don't really ask questions related to the club or actually the game that they're supposed to be asking about. I'm not sure how some of these journalists actually, have their jobs because the questions they ask is really, really farcical. Moving along, he spoke about the tactics that we potentially could use against City. And as I've said before, if you haven't watched the City preview, definitely go and give that a watch. It's got a more in-depth detail as to what we can do to break down City and actually win the game. But he spoke about the tactical discipline that we need to have, the fact that we need to try and control the game, that we need to close them down and not allow them to play, ensure that when they do, flood us with numbers and overload us, in certain areas that we are able to cope with that and able to, get out of those areas because they will try and press us. They will try and close us down because they do see that we are frail of, with playing from the back. And he definitely will tell his players to go at us because, of course, we're not in our best form, we're not in our best moment, but of course, we can do better. And, essentially, we need to ensure that we, as Ragnick said himself, have tactical discipline, control the game, close down the spaces, ensure that, as I've said before, we don't allow them to overload us, which is what City and Pep loves to do. So Ragnick didn't give much away in terms of tactical, analysis for our way of, beating City, but he gave just enough, to leave a bit of thought in Pep's mind with regards to knowing the fact that we do have, contingencies in place to actually exploit them and their weaknesses. The following question he was asked was about Cavani, and basically simply said Cavani has been back. Only had his second training session yesterday, and basically he will be available as it stands. Ragnick said he will be available for the game against City, so that could provide us with another option up front. However, I still believe Ronaldo would and should be starting, mainly because of the attacking threat that he poses for us. And moving along, basically, I was asked about the structure of our club compared to City and Liverpool, etc. And he basically just said that he doesn't know. He's only focused on the team right now and the rest of the season. And once that is done, he will focus on the structure of the club, along with the new manager itself. Sorry, along with the new manager itself. And that is quite smart thinking, telling these journalists to stop asking questions with regards to, the structure of the club, how the club is run, you know, the decisions that are made by the club. That's not important right now. We need to focus on the upcoming games. We need to focus on the on pitch, you know, issues, if I have to put it that way. Forget about, everything that will happen in the off season. That will come in its time. We need to focus and remain focused on every single game that comes our way because, to be honest, every game for us should be treated like a final. If we want to get top four, if we want to be in the Champions League final, we need to treat every single game as if it is a final. That is simple, and that is what Ragnick is trying to bring across to these players and to these journalists. And he also spoke about the fact that there's no way that he can decide on anything in the future because he doesn't know. He doesn't know with regards to, who the manager might be, where the club might be going, what type of players, the new manager would want. He can't make these decisions now because it's still too early in, the season in terms of before the end of it. And there are too many things that he has to focus on in terms of on-pitch um, issues, then he actually has time to speak about the issues off the field. And yes, he has spoken to the scouts with regards to certain players. He has spoken to the people that deals with managerial appointments. He has spoken to them, but nothing concrete has been put in place. And there's no way he can put his focus on that when he needs to focus on us and the team actually ensuring we get top four, at least getting top four. And these journalists also decided to go and criticize, Ronaldo, saying that is it embarrassing for us as a club to depend, upon a 37-year-old, one of the greats, but who's clearly past his time. Ronaldo's not past his time. He's not. He is basically just going through a bad patch, and service is needed. giving him the opportunities, and he will score. I've said this plenty of times, and I'm not in this whole brigade of, oh, Ronaldo's old, oh, Ronaldo's done. No, I'm not part of that brigade, and I don't think I will be. I will believe in Ronaldo until the day that he leaves the club or retires. There's no way I will ever doubt him. He's proven doubters wrong time and time again, and he will just go and do it again and silence those haters and those critics. We all know that. Ragnick knows that. The players know that. So we don't need to, worry about an idiot journalist who's trying to cause a bit of unrest within the team. And he also Ragnick spoke about Cavani as another option, as I've said, but also spoke about Rashford, interestingly, saying that he believes Rashford can be a top, modern number nine because of his physicality, because of his shooting, because of his pace that he has. And I do agree with this. He started as a striker when Van Gaal gave him his debut years ago, but then he drifted into the wing because he wanted more ball and he wanted to be like, Ronaldo. But I think, Ragnick is working on him and Ragnick is developing him. And we will see the best of Marcus Rashford and sooner rather than later. But we will definitely see Marcus Rashford, come back with a vengeance again because I'm sure that he has a point to prove and has a point to show people that, you know what, I am still here and I am still one of England's top players. Especially with the World Cup coming up, you won't need to perform so that he can get a place in that World Cup squad for England. And again, another journalist asked him about the managers, and he basically said that he hasn't spoken, about a potential manager coming in who he might think. Yes, he tipped his hat in the reports to saying that he gives the go-ahead, for Ten Hag to come in, but again, he probably has said so, and it's just media, reports. We don't exactly know if it's 100% true, but we take it. It's positive. It's something that we would want to hear as Manchester United supporters because getting Erik Ten Hag would be a dream, and also having Ragnick above him, absolutely beautiful. Two coaches that know each other, and two people that can definitely push this club to higher heights and make us challenge for the trophies that we need to be challenging for season in, season out. And lastly, he basically, again gave further tactical analysis, and I've mentioned that earlier on in the video as to how we can actually, approach and beat City. But if you haven't seen the preview to the City game, definitely go and give that a watch. It is definitely insightful and it's definitely for you to be enjoyed. But that is it from the press conference that Ralph Ragnick has given for the game against City. Not much being said, but a lot to actually go through. And it is positive words, and Ragnick seems focused on the game against City. And let's hope that the players are focused and that they are ready to give City a game and a run for their money and actually go and win the game because we need the 3 points. We can't play as if we can draw the game. Yes, a draw might be a favorable result, but we need to try and win the game because the 3 points is more important than anything else in this current state of time. Thank you guys for joining me and continue to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, especially where we post live updates of the game as the game goes along. And also continue to subscribe, like, and comment to the YouTube channel because we want to grow it and at least by middle of the year have at least 200 subscribers. Thank you guys for joining me. Have a wonderful day further. We'll speak again on match day. That is it, me, Sachin Johnson from the Stretford end. Goodbye.